Puerperal sepsis, an infection of genital tract which occurs as a complication of delivery, is termed as puerperal sepsis. Puerperal sepsis is commonly due to endometritis, that is inflammation of the endometrium, endomyometritis, that is inflammation of the muscles of the uterus, endoparametritis, that is inflammation of the peritoneum around the uterus in the pelvic cavity, or it may occur as a combination of all above conditions. Causative organism responsible for puerperal sepsis are Streptococcus hemolyticus group A, Staphylococcus pyrogenes, E. coli, Klebsiella, and Candida albicans. You can see in this diagram that there is the fungal infection of the vagina due to Candida albicans. Next, uh, what are the causative factors for the puerperal sepsis? It includes the antepartum factors. So the first is the malnutrition and anemia. So if the pregnant woman is malnourished, anemic, then there are more chances of the puerperal sepsis. If there is preterm labor, that means the labor which occurs before the 9 months, that is called as preterm labor. At that time there are chances of puerperal sepsis. If there is premature rupture of membranes, what is premature rupture of the membranes? If rupture of membranes occurs before 37 weeks, it is called as premature rupture of the membranes. And the last is the prolonged rupture of membranes more than 18 hours. So if there is prolonged rupture of the membranes more than 18 hours, it may also lead to puerperal sepsis. Next is the intrapartum factors. So the first is the repeated vaginal examinations. So if there is at the time of delivery, at the time of labor, if there is repeated vaginal examination for any reason, that may also cause the puerperal sepsis. If there is traumatic operatic delivery like in forceps delivery, that may also cause puerperal sepsis. If there are retained bits of placenta or membranes inside the uterine cavity remained inside the uterine cavity during at the time of delivery, it may also cause puerperal sepsis. Next is the placenta previa. So placenta is the big site in placenta previa near the vagina. So it acts as an open wound, and as it is present near to the vagina, the microorganisms from the urinary tract and the vagina, they are easily approachable to that placental site, and it may cause puerperal sepsis. Hemorrhage. If there is excessive hemorrhage at the time of delivery, it may again lead to more chances of puerperal sepsis. And last is the caesarean delivery. If the patient is has undergone caesarean delivery, there are chances of the puerperal sepsis more. Pathology. Puerperal wound infection. In this, the primary sites are perineum, vagina, cervix, and the uterus. What are the clinical features of puerperal sepsis? So, if the infection is localized, that means in the vagina or in the cervix, at that time what will be the symptoms? So there may be slight raise in temperature. There is generalized malaise. Generalized malaise means discomfort or body ache or headache. Next is redness and swelling of the local wound. That means if there is pus pocket in the cervix, there may be redness and swelling of the local wound like this. Pus formation and disruption of the wound. There may be pus formation at the site of the infection. So if the infection has reached into the uterus, if there is uterine infection, what will be the clinical features? there will be pyrexia of variable degree and tachycardia. Pyrexia means there will be increased temperature or fever of variable degree depending on the degree of the infection, and there will be increased pulse rate. Next is there is red, copious and offensive lochia. Lochia will be very much offensive. It smells bad, and it is also red in colored and increased secretion of the lochia. That means it is mixed with the blood. Next is subinvoluted, tender and soft uterus. That means when we go for abdominal examination, there will be the uterus will be felt over the fundus in the lower abdominal region, and on examination we will find that the uterus is soft and tender. Next is the what will be the clinical features if the infection is severe. So at that time there will be high rise of temperature with chills and rigors. That means the patient will having chills and rigor with high rise of temperature around 104 degree Fahrenheit. There will be rapid pulse, increased pulse, scanty odorless lochia. That means the vaginal discharge will be very scanty, and at that time there will be no smell to the lochia. Subinvoluted uterus. That means the uterus has not reached to its normal size as it normally occurs at the end of the puerperium, that is 6 weeks after delivery. Next is parametritis. If the infection is there in the peritoneal cavity around the uterus, at that time there is sustained rise in temperature. Sustained rise means sudden rise in temperature on the 7th and 10th day of the delivery. There is constant pelvic pain. There will be pain in the pelvic region. Tenderness on the either side of the hypogastrium. Hypogastrium is the area below the stomach in the lower abdomen. So there will be pain in the lower abdomen. Next is unilateral tender mass felt on vaginal examination. If we go for vaginal examination, on one side of the abdomen we can feel the tender mass. Tender means painful mass is felt, that is the uterus, because of the subinvoluted uterus, and there will be leukocytosis. Leukocytosis means increased WBC count. Next is investigations. So what investigations you will advise here? So in the bacteriological study, to search the bacteria which type of infection is there, we have to go for smear of the affected part, that is vaginal smear, cervical smear, etc. Next is culture and antibiotic sensitivity of the purulent material. We have to go for culture and antibiotic sensitivity of purulent material. High vaginal and cervical swab. Peritoneal fluids are taken by FNAC for the search of the bacteria, and blood culture is advised. Next is in the urine examination, we have to do the routine urine and microscopic examination, and if the infection is severe, culture is also advised. Next is complete blood count, and ultrasonography is advised for the diagnosis of any pelvic masses, pelvic abscess, pelvic peritonitis, and retained bits of placenta or membranes inside the uterine cavity. And sometimes if needed, X-ray is also advised. How to do the prevention of the puerperal sepsis? So in this, the antenatal and postpartum prevention is advised. In the antenatal care, we have to advise to avoid the contact with people having infection such as cold and boils. So the person who are suffering from tuberculosis, pneumonia, etc., such type of infections, so we have to avoid in contact with such people. And we have to avoid unnecessary vaginal examinations, so that we can prevent the sepsis in the later months after delivery. What is the postpartum prevention advised? So in this, take aseptic precautions while dressing the perineal wound. Mother to be instructed to use sterile pads. Next, homeopathic therapies. Commonly used homeopathic medicines for puerperal sepsis are Silicea, Calendula, Hipparacelf, Pyrogenum, Creosotum and Baptisia tinctorica. These medicines are very useful to treat such patients. Thank you for watching this video.